Randy Robinson of Life Today TV. I'm here with a special guest, an author and a speaker, Chet McDoniel. Chet, how you doing?
Doing great.
Glad you're here with us. Now, I think when people see you, they see the obvious challenges. You were born with no arms, and what do you call your legs?
Just shortened. In
legs.
fact, the doctors actually termed this limb deficiency, which, as you can tell, is real descriptive,
Yeah.
right? Sounds like a medical term.
Yeah.
But yeah, no arms. I have a stub on this side that I can use to balance and to hold on to things as I need to.
I was thinking about this, and I'm thinking, okay, this morning I got up. What do? I brush my teeth with my hands. I comb my hair. I shower, right? Make some breakfast, make some coffee. What does the day look like in your life?
Well, it's never alone, that's for sure. But my wife is always ready, even at 9 months pregnant, which she is now, to help in any way that is needed. There are lots of things that I can do for myself. For instance, I have a electric toothbrush and can bend pretty well and go down for that and do whatever I need to do there. I can feed myself most things.
With your feet?
Sometimes with my feet. It's a lot of times it's kind of like the bobbing for apples in method, but sometimes with my feet. When we're out in public, a lot of times she'll help because it kind of freaks people out,
Yeah, right.
But which I do on purpose sometimes just to get them out of their comfort zones.
Yeah.
But a lot of things that you do with your hands, I can do with my feet, and that I've just learned over time to handle on my own.
We had a guy on the show a few years ago that actually, he had no arms, and his legs were full length, but he would pick up a can of Coke off the floor, pop the top with his toe, and drink it. And,
Right.
And of course, everybody was astounded, kind of grossed out, because we generally don't use our feet for food.
Well, yeah.
But you have to, so. Now, you mentioned your wife. You mentioned she's pregnant. So you're not just an author and a speaker, you're a husband, you're a father. How many kids? This will be your second?
This will be number 2.
Number 2. What are the challenges there?
I think a lot of the challenges we haven't faced yet. Because with most things of taking care of a baby, she's right there if there's any need. I did the bottle, I did the various things, but as we grow older, what's interesting is now my 4-year-old is starting to notice, whereas she didn't before.
Yeah.
I'm trying to recall what it was the other day. She had something in her hand, and she looked up at me and said, "You can't do this." And then she quickly added, "With your hands, because you don't have any." But you can do it with your feet, can't you? Because she already catches on that it's not a can't. It's a how. How do we figure this out? And right now it's fun. But as she grows older and as the next child grows older, one of the things we're both watching out for is that none of our kids feel the need to defend me to anybody. I don't want them growing up in school when their friends see their dad. When the insults come, when the comments are made, because they will be made, I don't want them to feel the need to defend me, because I don't defend me. It took a long time to get here, but when comments are made, they roll off my back. I don't care what anybody says. I know who I am. I know who God is. I don't need anything else. But I'm careful, and I don't even know the right way to do this. But as we experience things with them, I want to make sure that they know that I love them, and that's all that really matters. It doesn't make any difference what anybody says.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I would think, I got 4 kids of my own, they're all teenagers now. I would think that at some point, a huge level of admiration and respect would come into their lives when they realize all the things that you have done that seem very difficult to those of us who, I got arms and legs, and raising my kids is still difficult, right? So for you to do it, it's like, wow, and it's an inspiration, I think, to say, if Chet can do it by golly, I can overcome whatever obstacles I have in my life. So I would anticipate that at some point, your kids are going to have that kind of wake up moment of, wow, my dad is incredible,
And they're probably going to get sick of the phrase, if I can do it, you have no excuse.
Yeah, probably. Well, with all the missions work I've done, I'm starving. No, you're not. Is your belly distended? Is your hair falling out? Or
Exactly.
So my kids get tired of that too.
Right.
Just the way it is. What do you see for the future in your life?
I want to continue speaking. I love going around and telling our story, encouraging people to be happy, to be loving, to realize that they have a life worth living no matter what comes their way.
Yeah.
To help people understand that every life is great.
On Life Today, which you can see at lifetoday.org with Chet, you talk a lot about the importance of life, and of course your involvement with the documentary film.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where you want to go, to be a pro-life proponent, or is that just kind of a byproduct of what's come your way?
What's interesting is when we first got going and speaking and doing a lot of stuff, most of it was local. And then through a mutual friend, someone with some influence over who gets to speak at what banquets and things like that, found out about me, and immediately it clicked with him before it did with me that I should be at pro-life banquets. I should be at Crisis Pregnancy Center banquets. Mm. And I remember thinking, I don't want to be pigeonholed into that. I don't want that to be my only area. And it isn't, but as things have developed, it is by far the most important. It is by far my favorite, and where I want to be more than anywhere else is standing up for life. Because statistics are thrown around out there that we're seeing something like 90% less people with Down syndrome, because we think we can detect that on a sonogram. And then I start to look around. There weren't that many people born with no arms to begin with. But do you see any now?
Are there fewer? Do we know that?
I don't know that it is statistically, it's not something that I've read. But it's certainly something that I start to look around and see. There are fewer physical deformities. There are fewer diseases that, again, that we think we can see on the screen.
Yeah.
And that's why I think there's even more need for a voice.
Yeah.
To say, wait a second, what are we taking away? What are we robbing someone of? And see, I don't buy into the whole, it's more merciful to take a life that isn't going to be perfect. Mm-hmm. Because that would have been me. Now, my parents would have never chosen that had they known anything. They didn't see a sonogram before I was born. But in today's day and age, that's the justification that is given for the sin of taking a life. I think that's a lie that Satan has introduced to our world, and our world has caught on to it and said, look at us, look how great we are. We're not going to make that child live through something so horrible as a disability. But when I go around and speak places, I tell people everyone in the room has a disability. It's just mine's one of the only ones that's visible. But everybody in here has a disability. Maybe it's not even medical. Maybe it's in your mind. It's keeping you from doing something. And there are people that live far worse, far less of a life than I live. And yet, I'm the target.
Yeah.
It's my life that you want to take.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a matter of education. I think it's a matter of getting out there and saying something. So absolutely, this is where I want to be.
Good for you. What's your book?
It's called I'm Not Broken. You Don't Need Arms to Be Happy. And I kind of walked around looking at people and seeing mostly unhappy people.
Right.
I mean, most of the time people are walking around with frowns. And if you don't believe me, drive around a major metropolitan area for a while and you'll see it. But what's sad about that is they don't know what they have. And I think it is a matter of not really consciously choosing to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, you and I could go on forever.
I'm
with that
sure.
one. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
Good topic. But I think people listen to it even more when they see you, because they see somebody that they've been programmed to think has a lesser life, and you're sitting there telling them you've got joy that they don't have.
Right.
Right.
Right, absolutely. And I think it's something that's so easy. And so I set out in the book to basically give just a few principles of these are really easy things that you can do, arms or no arms, to just make little changes that will change your attitude in life.
So how did you write the book?
How did I write the book? I typed every word of the book.
With your feet?
With my feet. If I'm going and I know what I'm typing, I can type around 35 words a minute.
I will never complain about having to type again. Right? That's awesome. I actually cheat. I use a voice program.
Right.
Yeah, for a lot of what I do.
I got frustrated with my voice program because if I get going, I can talk very, very quickly, and it gets behind, and then it messes something up, and I have to go back and fix it. Not that I don't make typos, but I felt like it was faster to type. So
they actually have digital voice recorders now that you can import the file into it, and it'll translate into. So you might check. We can talk about that a little bit later.
Yes.
I won't do the product plug unless they start paying me a little something, right?
And then I want your residuals. So.
Okay, fair enough. Where can people get your book?
At chetmcdoniel.com.
Okay, we'll put that on the screen.
Absolutely, and that's the easiest way to do it. Or if your favorite place is Amazon, it's available there as well on Kindle format as well as paperback.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for being on live today, and thanks for being up here on our little internet set. And just thanks for the inspiration, man. It's very cool stuff.
Thanks for having me.